My name is Tricia Embry. I am Manager of Communications and Content here at Southface, and we have some upcoming Energy Star trainings. And I have two Southfacers here with me to talk about what those changes mean. So first, let's do some introductions. Nathan and Mike, can you introduce yourselves and let us know what kind of work you do at Southface?
And I don't know the answer to that, so you should go first.
My name is Nathan Bessette. I'm the program director for Southface's fee-for-service programs, which include Earthcraft, BIT, and Southface Energy Rated Homes. And so as my role is about growing these programs and helping raters in the marketplace understand the different services available to them and help grow the programs within their companies as well.
Awesome. And I'm Mike Barcik, and I get to do a lot of our technical training at Southface. And so I work for you, Nathan, and I'm fine with that. But this is kind of exciting because Energy Star is making some big changes, some of which we literally learned about yesterday. Nathan and I were both on a webinar learning about some of the big changes that are coming. And I think it's exciting and it's good. It's good to see, you know, the kind of the bar get moved along. So thank you.
Yeah, well, thanks for talking to us. So who can benefit from being an Energy Star rater just in general, as far as like different job titles, what career level, like who can benefit from this?
Well, Nathan, please jump in, but I would say, you know, the Energy Star is a very well recognized national program. It's got the little logo, the Energy Star logo is very well identified by consumers in all walks of life, probably because it's on a lot of appliances. And I would probably say fewer consumers know that it's on, you know, can be applied to houses, but that's a pretty well established program. And even commercial buildings, a very different type of program. And Southface has been involved in these, you know, programs for many, many years. But to me, the people that would benefit directly are obviously, you know, if a builder wants to build better than basic code, this is great recognition. And a number of people in the verification world that we do lots of training on, for example, home energy raters, Earthcraft technical advisors, they all need this credential. You know, essentially what this class is kind of, I would say they're kind of our target audience. What do you think, Nathan?
Yep, absolutely. And then also one other credential within the HERS rater world, and that's the rating field inspector, field inspectors. And then in the future, energy modelers as well will need this training.
So anybody involved in the program or the verification side of things, really, that's absolutely the target audience.
Awesome, that sounds great. So the benefits, I assume that there are a lot of different benefits for individuals who gain these ratings or gain these certifications and are able to offer this to their customers. What are some of the benefits to people for maintaining or gaining this certification?
Well, if I can jump in, I'll say one thing I really like is in the past, the EPA sort of said, somebody from your company needs to take this training. So whoever drew the short straw had to go take this training. And they were not necessarily the one that was actually involved on that project. And you know, that represents a disconnect, because you want the thing about this, it's very much a house as a systems program, and you want the people on the ground to have familiarity with it and understand why this is important. So I would say that was a big, that's a huge benefit, that essentially the EPA is changing the rules, saying if you're going to be involved in this, you have to have taken this training. Nathan?
Yeah, and then broadly, a few of the benefits to be aware of is, you know, Energy Star is this nationally recognized program. It is in essence a green building certification. It's got a lot of brand recognition with the Energy Star brand. So there's a lot of good promotion behind the program. and growing marketplace for the elements of the program, including indoor air quality and high performance building. And then one other thing is there oftentimes are incentives or tax credits that might tie into the ENERGY STAR certification. And the latest and greatest on that is the new 45L tax credit that might be a part of a package going through Congress right now. The latest is that it could have ENERGY STAR as the minimum level requirement, which gives a $2,500 tax credit to builders that have an ENERGY STAR certified home. So the demand for this credential is likely going to increase with the tax credits that may be available. All this is
yeah. Well, and
it'll light a fire for demand for these buildings and therefore the people that participate in rating the buildings.
The tax credit is definitely significant. And what's interesting is this tax credit has been around since I think 2006. It wasn't always called 45L, but it's the same tax credit. And it's currently based on demonstrating that you essentially have beat the reference home by 50% on the energy used for heating and cooling only. So it's not looking at things like more efficient hot water and things like that. And that tax credit, it just won't go down, Nathan. It will not die. And you know what happens is Congress, you know, sometimes they are a little bit proactive and they say, yeah, it's good for the rest of the year. But a lot of times they go, well, we're just going to make it retroactive for last year. But that's happened for 15 years. So this tax credit, you know, is still around. And I love that they're trying to enhance it. And I do like the idea that they're being more holistic and tying it to ENERGY STAR. I think these are all great ideas. So we'll wait and see if that happens. But even if it doesn't, most likely this tax credit that I just described will still be in place. And this is, you know, the work you're doing for ENERGY STAR dovetails really nicely into helping you earn this tax credit, even though, you know, they're kind of slightly looking at one's more holistic, but great incentive. And thanks for mentioning that.
Yeah. So we've been talking a little bit about the EPA issuing updated guidance, going through some changes, even some late breaking ones that we heard about yesterday. Can you go into a little bit detail on kind of what the changes are, what the deadlines are, kind of what that means?
Nathan, you want to go first?
Sure, yeah. So as many people may know, there's ENERGY STAR is on version 3 of the program right now, and then there's version 3.0 for much of the country and a version 3.1 for states that have a higher adoption of a later energy code. And the biggest news is the ENERGY STAR is really going to try to push everybody up to version 3.1. So it's really good to, if you haven't looked at ENERGY STAR in a while, it's really good to come back and understand the elements of the program, even if you have been ENERGY STAR trained. Change is coming, and so it's good to really refresh on the elements of the different checklists, the requirements, the program requirements, because you'll likely have builders asking about it and asking you for information on how to reach the ERI targets, which is lower in version 3.1 versus version 3.0. So the role of the rater, the role of the RFI is going to increase, and the knowledge and expertise is going to be as important, if not more important than ever. Absolutely.
So to kind of hit the key target dates here, Tricia, one is the end of this year, basically January 1 is of next year of 2022 is when everybody that's involved in ENERGY STAR projects has to have gone through this training. So all the raters, not just someone in your company that no longer works there. And then a next date 6 months after that will be July 1st of 2022, which is when 3 states, Utah, New Mexico, and Georgia, will be transitioning to version 3.1. And it's because our state's current energy code is a little more advanced than, say, the baseline. And then 6 months after that, so this is July 1st, 2023, they kind of said, we're going to make the whole country go to version 3.1. So, you know, Georgia's 6 months ahead of the game, but you can see where it's going. And I think Nathan did a good job of kind of summarizing. If you're already doing Energy Star, great, no problem. But it's going to get a little bit more stringent, and you should know that this is coming. So once again, emphasizing the importance of taking this training.
Yeah. So it sounds like Georgia's an early adopter, but this kind of training is, since Energy Star is a national credential, this would be a good training for kind of anybody throughout the country, because everybody's eventually going to need to be on 3.1, correct?
Yep, pretty much in just over a year from now. So yeah, absolutely. That is coming.
Okay. And then, yeah, so the January 1st is the deadline for everybody working on a project versus just one person, correct? So let's talk about the details of the training we have offered. I have some dates and times and costs in front of me, but what do y'all want to tell us about Southface's training?
Well, we have taught the Energy Star for Homes training traditionally in live training format. We've taught it for a long time, probably a decade or more, and much more recently, I think, Nathan, I think it might have been January of this year, we taught one of the first Energy Star for multifamily new construction training, and that part of that. And if you want to do that training, one of the prerequisites is that you also have to do the residential training. So another great benefit to taking this training. And in the past, this was typically a 2-day effort. So it was more or less a full day of live training, and then a half day, and then in the afternoon, people took a test. And so I think it'll look something like that in the online format. We have honestly not completely nailed down what the time is going to look like, but I think it's probably going to be that it's Tuesday and Wednesday. And then the test, we'll either offer it Wednesday afternoon, or we'll just say take it on Thursday, and it'll be an online format. So you can do it all virtually and knock it out. Sound good, Nathan?
Yeah, and I just wanted to emphasize it is live online, so anyone can join from anywhere in the country and really benefit from the course. Mike is an amazing educator, amazing trainer. He keeps students engaged through an online format for a long period of time. So really high success rates because of that with people who take the course. There's very high success rate of passing. Allows for people to ask questions and really engage and make sure that they really thoroughly understand things, versus if it was a recorded option, you don't really have an option to ask questions. You might be able to send an email and you might get a response and it might answer your question, but there's a lot of mights in there, whereas you get a guarantee of that with the live online format. So yeah, it's going to be a really good course. It's in October, hoping to get as many people registered as possible, so that they can meet the January 1st deadline for everyone in their company that is involved in any way rating an Energy Star home, having the credential. And as Mike was saying, it's going to be 2 days of online class, and then we'll have the test. And yeah, so it's going to be a good course.
Cool. And so this is for single family residential, correct? But y'all are considering doing multifamily and commercial with it?
If we get some interest, we're never ones to say no to anything, and we're all natural problem solvers to figure out a way. But yeah, so we did a multifamily course in January of this year. I think we had 100% pass rate on students who took the course, so that's really phenomenal.
I think we had like 18 people in the class too, so it was a good effort. Yeah. I don't remember exactly how many people, but
so yeah, if we can hit numbers like that, we would be happy to run that course once again.
Yeah, I think, and again, that course focused very, very heavily on the multifamily side of things, but a requirement was that you also had to pass the residential one, which is what this one is. And so, it's I think, all the more reason why this is an appropriate training, whether you're doing single family or multifamily, you still need this training. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this, I've been told it qualifies for 18 ResNet continuing education units, and that the cost includes the EPA provided exam and one retest.
We're not going to
exactly right.
Right, right, Nathan. They don't need the retest, but yes,
yeah, you shouldn't need the retest.
Sounds good to me.
But
all
yes,
right,
from a cost per CEU standpoint, it's very affordable as well.
So in closing, what would each of you say to somebody who is on the fence about investing in this training and certification?
Ooh, I want to start. I personally think that the Energy Star program, I've watched it over the years. Energy Star Homes program. I've been involved with it. We're in version 3 now, and I remember version 1, believe it or not, many years ago. And inevitably a program that's designed to sort of lead the industry, has to push hard, and then people start getting more and more acclimated to it, and then it gets, code, if you will, starts to catch up to it. So a big push has to happen, and that's kind of, I think we're looking at the forefront of something like that occurring. And I also think that Energy Star is going to start addressing larger issues such as decarbonization. And I think you're going to see, you want to be positioned for this, because this is the wave of the future, that more and more programs are going to start to look at a more holistic effort, not just energy. They already have a great program, Indoor Air Plus, about the indoor environment. So we're going to see advances in those programs. It's not going away, and I think the relevance is going to become more and more in the fairly near future. So I think there's a lot to be said for that.
Yeah, I just reinforce what Mike says. This is Energy Star really becoming a platform to achieve a lot of different efforts from a high performance building standpoint. It's the most officially recognized program from the government, so they're tying in some of the government incentives to that. That'll layer in most likely utility incentives as well. So really this is just the first step, but the critical step in order to engage with the program.
Okay, those were fantastic answers. So thanks again for joining us, and I'll let you scamper off to your next meeting or work or whatever exciting things you have going on.
1 minute. So yeah, that's perfect. But thank you, Trish, and thanks everybody. And I hope, please do sign up for this training. I think it is a really good opportunity and very pertinent. So thank you again, Trish, for helping us to push the word out.
Thanks.